Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Quantum GK. I'm your host, Donna Reyes. I missed you all last week, everyone who tuned in into our regular Thursday night program last week. I was not able to join you, but thank you so much to Jean Gavina who hosted on my behalf, and it was such a great interview and conversation between her and it's Evan Wu, right? Is that right? And I hope I didn't butcher all of that. But tonight is another episode. It's another night of conversation. This time with another young lady from Houston. Please welcome Miss Sophie Sweet.
Hi.
Hi, Sophie. What a cool name you have.
Thank you.
That's your real name, right?
Yes. Yes, 100%.
And it's Sophia, not Sophie?
Yeah, legally it's Sophia, but everyone just calls me Sophie.
Awesome. All right. So, well, my first question, I'm sure you wouldn't mind because you're so young, right? If you're a little bit like my age, and people ask how old I am, I'd probably, try to answer the question. But how old are you?
I am 21. I just turned 21 August 1st. So brand new, like legal America adult.
Oh, wow. So did you go out, drinking with friends and responsibly, hopefully?
Yes.
You don't have to be, shy about it. You are of legal age as long as you're responsible.
Yeah, I went out with my godmother made me dinner, and I went out with my cousin for my birthday, but we didn't do anything like that extravagant because there's still, COVID. You don't want to go crazy.
True. All right. Well, you started with fundraising and kind of, spreading awareness about Gawad Kalinga at age 14. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So I'd always known about the poverty crisis in the Philippines from a very young age. The first time I went home, I was 4 years old. And I remember we were going up this mountain in my mom's province. And I really, really had to use the restroom. And I begged my mom. And the only place was this shanty on the side of the mountain. And it was like my first, I guess, culture shock of how good I had it in America versus what poverty actually looked like. And it always had set in my idea that I wanted to do something and I wanted to change something and do something better for the Philippines. And eventually I did find Gaud Kalinga. However, my initial beginnings with GK are a lot less, I guess, how do I joined GK because I was a very procrastinative teenager. Let's put it like that. So my high school had volunteer hour requirements, and I, of course, waited till the absolute last second to do anything. But it had been right around the time my mom had affiliated with GK, and she talked to my Tita Carol and said, "Hey, my daughter needs hours. Is there any way that she can work with GK? She needs 15 by Saturday." So, of course, Tita Carol said, "Yeah, she can work with us. But if I'm signing for these hours, she's paying me back in double." And then double turned into every weekend and every GK event. And I was just constantly with Gawad Kalinga my entire high school career.
So can you say well, I understand that, what your beginnings of GK is sort of a school requirement, I guess. But what made you stay and continue to work with GK and volunteer for GK and advocate for Gawad Kalinga and the poor?
Well, when I had joined, I was the only person under the age of 20 in my chapter here in Texas. And I saw this, they saw this like opportunity for me to, reach out to other people my age or just put even more like younger ideas in the organization because when I joined, everything was a little bit dated and I saw an opportunity where I could grow and I could learn a lot. And of course, when I understood what GK was and what they were doing, it had aligned with everything I wanted to do and things I wanted to do back home in the Philippines.
And so your last name is Sweet. So are you half Filipino, half?
Yeah, I am half Filipino and half white.
Okay, all right. And where's your mother from? Or is it your mom? I suppose it's your mother is Filipino, right?
Yeah, my mom is from Cagayan de Oro in the Mindanao in the Philippines.
Yeah. Do you understand the dialect over there, or do you understand Tagalog at all?
I understand when my mom is very mad. That's about it.
What is it? Well, that's they say like when you're mad or when you're in pain or something, that's when your Filipino comes out. I think that's when you say aray if you're if you grew up in the Philippines instead of ouch, right? Or like when you're mad, hopefully you don't swear, but if you do swear, only in Tagalog, then you're mad because you can't really control your emotions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you said you were the only one who's below 21 at that time when you started with GK, or you started working
Yeah.
with your
When I had started working with GK Next Gen had just started. So there were some college age students, but there was no one really high school. Later on, some of my titas in the organizations, they would bring their kids in, and the youth population here really grew. But when I joined, it was definitely me and a bunch of adults, and I felt very awkward.
How was it? I mean, it felt awkward, and did it discourage you at all to like, well, you were a teenager and you probably want to hang out with people your age and do cool fun stuff.
Yeah, it was never discouraging because I was always really talkative. So no matter who I was with, I never had issue like making conversation with who I was around. It was definitely different than, just being around people my age, like I was always at school or with my friends. But being with older people definitely, I guess, forced me to mature in ways that I needed for Galakalinga.
And was it, when you were at some point a Gawad Kalina Hope ambassador or ambassadress. What does
Mhm.
it mean? What does that title mean?
So the title of Hope Ambassador, Hope actually stands for Heroes of Poverty Eradication. So my senior year of high school, it was right after I had gone on immersion with Tita Carol in the Philippines. She asked me, "Do you want to run as ambassador?" And I was kind of, incredibly terrified because between getting back from the Philippines and the Hope Ball was about 3 months. And I was like, yes, but I wish I had known 6 months ago. But I did it, and yeah,
Ew.
it uh, the ambassador program, it meant that I was spending like more than the fundraisers. I was putting the image and idea of GK everywhere. I was talking to as many people as I could, getting as many donations as I could, just trying to spread GK's message, trying to raise money for GK, and do everything I could possible to do what I needed for Taxes for Gawad Kalinga.
What does Hope stand for again? That was the first time I heard.
Yeah. So, HOPE stands for Heroes of Poverty Eradication.
Heroes of Poverty Eradication. And were there others who ran to be ambassadors as well? And was it some kind of a contest?
Technically, it's a contest. However, I never saw it as a contest. I just saw it. There was me and two other people, and we were all going for the same goal. At the end of the day, we were raising money for the same cause. So, I mean, it was a contest, but I never saw it that way.
And in the end, really, the winners will be the poor who you help
Yeah.
out, regardless of who ended up with the most money raised, or however many number of people you've talked to. At the end of the day, who wins is really the cause, right? Is the advocacy. That's awesome. Other I think there are also other ambassadors, maybe not in that contest kind of, form, but like, celebrities who are using their sort of influence, right? To promote the advocacy for the poor. And one of them is Leia Salonga. Did you,
Mhm.
did you say, obviously, you probably obviously know Leia Salonga, right?
Of course.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? And you're in great company. So I know that she was a Gawad Kalinga ambassador in the early days of Gawad Kalinga. So how has your involvement with Gawad Kalinga changed from when you started back when you were 14 and now that you're 21, you obviously still are very passionate and very, very articulate and very much involved. You were just at the Young Adult Summit about 2, 3 weeks ago. How has that changed for you? Your involvement in Gawad Kalinga?
It's definitely, the older I get, the more responsibility I get. When I first joined, it was just, okay, we're having dances, if we're having pasayal, Sophie, you're good at talking. You're gonna go in the front, you're gonna talk, and you're gonna try to sell things. But now with the balls and everything, sometimes I'm speaking. Tita Carol, she'll let me know when events are happening because I'm in college now. So I'll go home to Houston. But I think like the turning point in my involvement with GK was after my immersion in the Philippines with Tita Carol, because I got to see firsthand and work firsthand in the Kalinga villages and see what exactly I was raising money for. So after that, it just, after my immersion, it became more of a, this is what I'm doing. And so I was taking every opportunity I could to do what I can.
So what happened in that immersion that, can you walk us through? That must have been really powerful for you. But can you walk us through? I've never been to Gawad Kalinga village, right? I have my own story of how I first encountered poverty, right? How, the first time I knew about it outside of it being part of the landscape. I was born and raised in the Philippines, grew up there. But like in the beginning, before I actually lived like in one of the shanties with the families and all of that, it was just part of the landscape for me. So how was that experience for you, visiting a Gawad Kalinga village and talking to the residents there and all of that?
It was like, I've been to the Philippines multiple times before, but going with GK was my biggest culture shock. Because I mean, you can't ignore the poverty in the Philippines, it's everywhere. But when you're immersed in the GK villages, or you're going to a neighborhood of shanties, if you want to call it that, you see firsthand what the poverty crisis looks like. And I saw shanties as big as my bedroom here, housing 8, 10 people, and they were happy. No one was ever complaining. And it was the biggest culture shock to me. And working in the GK villages, here in America, we have Thanksgiving and we always joke, oh, we have enough food here on the table to feed a village or feed a small town. But then when I got to go with GK, I was feeding villages and I got to like put, I guess, the saying to word to action. And I felt like for the first time in my GK experience, I was kind of doing what I signed up for.
So you visited both the I guess communities of informal settlers, where there's shanties and all of that, as you were describing, and then also visited a Gawad Kalinga village.
Yeah, I got to go to multiple GK villages. I got to see the two main Houston-based villages, GK Consuelo and GK Takistan, I think. And then I got to see some older villages in Manila that were also Texas-based, Dallas, I think. I think I also got to go to GK Canada village. But I was definitely, everywhere we went, we were going to as many GK villages as we could find.
So did you get a chance to interact or, talk to residents of those people who were still in the shanties that maybe Chiki has not reached yet, and those residents of the Gawad Kalinga villages? So both, can you tell us, like, did you see any differences in how they, talk to you, or how they?
Yeah. When I was like, when we went to the, I guess, the Shanties community, it was a lot different than when we went to the PK communities. Because when I was going to the Shanties, I saw kids who should be in school right now. They were out selling ice candy or whatever they could on the street because they needed to bring money home. And there's a big language barrier because I couldn't speak Tagalog or Kapampangan, which because we were in Kapampangan the whole time. But what I could see, and the way I did interact, it was two like very different worlds. But Tita Carol did show us these are families who are on the wait list for the GK homes. We were going to villages that were pulling families out of that situations and then putting them in the GK housings.
How long were you there for?
My immersion was 14 days.
Oh, wow. Wow. That, I mean, like the longest I had was way back when I was in college was I was 19. And it was, I think, oh yeah, you know what? Maybe 5 days. Not as long as you have. And that like completely changed my life, right? All right. So here we have some comment from Alex Gutierrez. He says for more information on our Texas for GK ambassadorship program. Oh, and then he's just, there's a YouTube link to a YouTube video that he shared. And he also said, hi.
Hi, Grandpa Alex.
Yeah, he said, way to go, Sophie. Texas for GK is so proud of you, having a GK ambassador and consistently a champion for a GK. Thanks, Alex, for tuning in and listening to us, watching Sophie and myself tonight. And then also we have a question from Dr. Charlie Kapati. Charlie, will Sophie get to reach out and support our micro donation drive? So we're putting you on the spot, Sophie. Are you supporting our GKUSA's micro donation drive?
So once again, I'm in college and very broke, but once I learned about the micro donation drive through the Youth Young Adult Summit a couple weeks back, I put it in all of my GK feeds. I texted to my mom. She said she shared it around. So I'm doing what I can. It's just I am also very broke right now.
No, that's exactly what the micro donation drive is all about. Is that there's no such thing as small efforts, because small efforts actually lead to bigger things, right? And for me, if there was not to diminish, all right, Dito Charlie is one of our GK Village builders, and we have several other GK Village builders where they actually commit and build, like put in the funds and raise funds to build a village, right? And some of them, are individuals and not necessarily like a group of individuals or organization, but they're like one person building a village, right? There are people who are blessed to have those kinds of resources. But for me, right, I think there's so much power in the concerted effort of several, like many individuals. Like if I have to choose, not that I want to choose, I think any contribution is toward the cause is awesome, and it's going to help us further our cause and help us end poverty in the Philippines sooner than later. But if I have to choose for example, like a $50,000 donation from one person, or a $50,000 donation from 50 people or 100 people or 200 people, I would choose the second one, because that means that we have touched so many lives, not only of the beneficiaries, right, of those houses or that will be built, but the lives of those people who are actually contributing, right? Because I've heard it time and again from people who have come to this program, and just talk to them outside this program or whatever, is that they think in the beginning, they think that they are giving to GK or to the poor, but in the end they get so much more. I think it was actually Mylene Supan who said that, who's also all from you. All right, so let me switch gears here a little bit. I wanted to know a little bit more about your background. I understand that you just moved to a new apartment, to a new place, and you're in college now, right? And what are you taking? What are you majoring in?
I major in music performance with a minor in music industry.
Oh, so are you a singer? I saw a picture of you with an instrument.
Yeah, I'm a cellist. I play the cello. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And what school do you go to?
I currently attend Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi.
All right. Okay. And have you always been, like interested in music, musically inclined, like since you were little?
I'd always been involved in music in some way, but I didn't actually pick up my cello until I got to high school. And I was really, really, it's all I wanted to do. It's all I still want to do. And when I got to college, it just kind of set in place. I was like, well, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to bring to the Philippines one day. So this is what I'm going to do.
Awesome. And have you done anything like any concerts or any that used your musical talent to, promote Gawad Kalinga or any of that perform maybe in one of the
Yeah. So last year, actually on my 20th birthday, this was, I guess, peak first wave of COVID. I had been locked in my house with my family for 5 months, and I said, okay, I need to do something to get out. I need to do something where I'm going to put GK out there again, and I'm going to I guess, use talents for good. And I turned my 20th birthday into a live stream concert for Gawad Kalinga, and it was pretty good success. I had no idea what I was doing. I was completely winging it, but at the end, we raised a good bit of money, and we had a lot of fun in the process.
we have another young lady from the Young Adult Summit, I think, who wanted to do a concert, with her family to raise funds. And there seems to be so much interest and inspiration, right, that came out of that Young Adult Summit. How did that impact you?
It was it was different because I had never been in a place for Gawad Kalinga where it was just so many young people who were interested. Because, like I said, when I started with GK, I was one of the only ones, and of course, there's more now. But the summit, I was in this huge like conference call with all these people all over America who just they wanted to do something for GK, and it was really, I guess, inspiring to say the least.
Awesome. We're very excited we've been getting, quite a few emails and, young people who are reaching out and wanting to, to volunteer and do things for Gawad Kalinga. Last week's, not last year, last week's program's guest was a high school student. And, he actually registered a Gawad Kalinga USA organization in his high school. Isn't that awesome? He's
That's amazing.
already doing so much. I'm sorry I cut you off. What were you saying?
Oh no, I just said that was amazing. I didn't say anything important.
It is important. It is amazing. So hats off to you, Evan. All right. So Maricel Villanueva, our dear executive director, said, Sophie, thanks for sharing your ideas at the Young Adult Summit. Last year, she raised funds through her violin cello concert and and could be part of our GK Next Gen Core group. Oh yeah. So I will talk to you, Sophie, offline after this. So when we wrap up, which we're not wrapping up yet, but when we wrap up, please don't hang up right away because I'll talk to you about something. All right. Oh, okay. Thank you for reminding me, Chrissy. The young lady, I'm sorry, I'm old. I wish I was like your age, not forgetting names and things. So I'm so happy with Chrissy and Lovely assisting me here. She said it was actually Leonore Saikolov. I hope I didn't butcher her last name. Who's planning to put together a concert, and I forget what kind of instrument she plays. But when this pandemic is over and we can all gather in person and all of that, I so look forward to seeing you both play. And in the name of the poor for the poor, and or even for fun. Well, everything we do for God is fun, right?
Of course.
So, okay, so you said that your mom was first involved with Gawad Kalinga and you kind of tagged along when you were younger. So, was this something that, like helping the poor and volunteering and stuff like that? Has this been sort of a family, part of your family culture? And,
My mom grew up very poor in the Philippines, and she, if anything, and she instilled in me, and she says, know how good you have it. Growing up, I moved everywhere. I went to 9 schools all over America. And no matter where we lived, no matter what we were doing, my mom was always involved in some type of Filipino outreach organization. So I definitely grew up very aware of the situation in the Philippines and always doing something to either work on the poverty crisis or just bring awareness to Filipino culture and traditions.
so do you have any siblings or are you the only child?
Yeah, my mom got really sick when she was pregnant with me, so I am the only child.
All right. Well, I was just curious if you had siblings and if they were doing the same thing as you are doing.
No, I'm the only one.
Oh my goodness. All right. So Maricel said that Leonor Sadkolov's sister Claire is a music student also in Texas. Isn't that exciting? So all of these, musical talents coming together and, and and doing some, performing for, to help the poor in the Philippines. This is super, super exciting. All right. So what would you how would you encourage, people your age, young as you are, maybe even younger, right? Like Evan is 16 years old, our guest from last week. Or, maybe those who are in college, just like you are, how would you encourage them to, be a part of Gawad Kalina's work?
With COVID, I know everything is pretty intimidating. We can't really go to pasayaos or have dances anymore, but I'd say just reach out to a local chapter in your state or city. See what you can do online, see how you can spread the message. Just see what is completely within your books, or if you're a younger person, I know for a fact that you are fluent in technology. Ask your tita, what do you need help promoting the social media? Do you need help creating all these links? Does the website need help? Because we're really good at technology. There's a lot of things that are in our grasp, and if you're young, you think, oh, well, I don't have money, I can't donate. Well, you have time, you have a lot of time. Donate your time.
Awesome, awesome. That's perfect. And you're doing, I suppose you're doing the same to, spread the word about Gawad Kalinga in your own social media accounts. I think you mentioned that earlier, how you were, sharing links and stuff like that via social media, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So is there, do you want to share is there a public social media account for you that, people can follow you and, as they want to know more about Gawad Kalinga?
So my personal accounts, I usually just share all of chapter updates. But if you want to get more involved with Nexus for Gawad Kalinga, you can follow us or like us on Facebook. That's where all of the updates go. That's where all of our chapter events go. And
all right, awesome. And we, of course, we invite everyone to check out our Gawad Kalinga Facebook page. If you're watching this, you are on the Gawad Kalinga USA's Facebook page. Also follow us on Instagram. So we'll put the links down below so you can also get updates from, from us and what's going on in the Philippines, the various programs and all of that. And please do not hesitate to send us a message here on Facebook if you want to be included in our email list, email distribution list, so we can also share information with you in that way. All right, so this final, couple minutes, Sophie, do you have any final message to, to everyone who's, may want to be involved in the work, in maybe in Houston, anything coming up in the next couple of months or something, or within the year?
Well, if you'd asked me last week, I said, everyone should come out to the Houston Filipino Street Festival. But, with COVID and the Delta variant being so widespread and cases skyrocketing, I guess my only message to anyone watching is, we're living in a crazy time. But if you want to stay involved, if you want to do something, just find out what you can do and what's feasible to you. Because there's nothing too small to be done. Just, I guess, is what I would want to say.
Perfectly said. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Sophie. And that has been very inspiring to see a young lady like you be involved in this work and being so passionate and articulate. And we need more storytellers like you. And like I said, don't hang up, because I have something to share with you offline. We'll keep you all posted. You'll find out more about it in the next, couple of weeks, maybe a month, until we actually kind of figure everything out. And so that's it. That's it for this evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This has been another episode of Quantum GK. Again, here with Sophie Sweet. I'm your host, Donna Reyes. Bye. Good night.